Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new iStaging talk. We are back. It has been a while, but I'm excited that we are back. And in today's webinar, we are talking about everything real estate, from digital twins to 3D renders and live guided tours to photography and editing. We'll try and cover all of it. The challenge will be to keep it all relatively short, because I can probably talk about any one of those things for an entire day, but I don't want to take up that much of your time. My name is Stefan, and I'll be your host for today. Please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me, so you can let me know in the chat on the right hand side of your screen. I would really appreciate that. You can also ask me any questions in that chat throughout the webinar, but I'll cover them all towards the end during the live Q&A. But if there's anything during the webinar that comes up, just post it in there and in the chat, and I'll cover them. But yeah, please let me know if the audio and the video is all good. I don't see anyone chatting just yet, but I'm assuming that it's all okay. So yeah, we are talking about real estate today. And yeah, we have a lot to cover, so let's just dive right in. Quite favorable, all okay. All right, thanks Jared and Nick, I appreciate that, awesome. So yeah, let's dive right in. Now, for those of you who have been with iStaging before, or have joined webinars before, you know that we basically have a platform that enables you to create digital and virtual experiences quickly and easily of physical spaces, but also spaces that are under construction or are not yet are just not in the real world. And you can do that all yourself without any technical skills. Now, we have been active in the real estate industry since the beginning of time, very a long time ago, but we also do lots of business in retail and hospitality and all kinds of other cool industries, but real estate we've probably been in the longest. So let's start with digital twins, virtual tours. So virtual tours, 3D tours, 360 tours, all kind of means the same thing. Basically going into a physical area, physical space, and then capturing that and creating a digital version of that physical space. Right now, you're all probably quite familiar with that. You can either do that using your smartphone, the most affordable option that you've got, or a 360 camera. Any 360 camera would basically work, as long as it has an output of a panoramic image of 2:1. So for example, 8,000 to 4,000 pixels. Now, almost all 360 cameras have that output, so no problem. But a smartphone is essentially also $1,000 device in your pocket, also really high quality. And I'm going to share my screen in a minute, and I'm going to walk you through multiple samples. And the first sample that I want to show you is actually one of a hotel. So a little bit different industry, but I think we can take some things from that, because it's not just about creating a virtual tour anymore. There are things you can do to actually elevate that experience, because virtual tours are more standardized nowadays, right? So besides just creating a virtual tour, there are actually things that you can do to really create a much better online experience. So let me just share my screen. Just give me a minute. Now, when I do that, I will not be able to see the chat. I hope that all the audio and video will still work properly. I will try and switch back every once in a while to just check. I don't want to talk for like 10 minutes and then realize that something went wrong with the audio. So let me just find the screen sharing button right here. All right. Okay. Okay, I think we should be good. You guys should be able to see me, and yeah, I think so. If there is any audio issues or video, just let me know, and I'll switch back every once in a while. So this is actually an example of a digital twin of a hotel, a luxury hotel in Taiwan. And the first thing that you can see here is that what they did is these are essentially little hotspots that you see in front of you, right? But they've customized the icons, so it fits perfectly within this space, which is really nice, right? That's already from the lobby a really inviting experience, which is a very small effort for a really nice result, right? Meaning I can go to different areas within the hotel to explore the different rooms and the facilities. But one of the things that I want to show you here in this particular tour is drone shots, which we as a business don't really talk about that often, that much, because it would obviously be very difficult. They're not that easy to create. You most likely need a photographer to do so. Just make sure. Yeah, okay. So you probably need a photographer to do this, right? And in this case, obviously, this is, the view is beautiful and you can actually see the hotel. So that's really helpful. But when we think about real estate, this could be really cool as well, right? If the property is in a beautiful environment, right? Or if there's in property development, when it's still just land and there's nothing there yet, I want to be able to see what is going to be built there, where it's going to be built. Or if it's a residential property, what if there is nature next to it or parks, right? A drone shot could really elevate this particular experience. So that's really cool. I understand that it will take a little bit more effort, maybe a little bit more cost, but the benefit you get out of it is really, really wonderful. Now, the third thing that I want to show you here, and I think that there's also something that really is great for a hotel, but can be used in real estate too, is what they did here is, now this is the rooftop with the pool, but you can see here with this little icon, this night and day icon, that they've actually showed the difference between night and day. So this is a day shot, but if I click on this icon, it will show me the exact same location, the exact same spot, but then during at night. And again, for real estate, this could also be cool. If you have a high-end luxury property, for example, you can do this too, which could really elevate it. If you have a beautiful garden with nice lights in it, then that little shot can really take it to the next level, right? And I understand that, again, you would have to go back to the property in the evening to do it. So there's, again, a little bit more effort. But I think the benefit that you get out of it definitely outweighs the additional effort that you have to put in. So I think that's really, really cool. Now, the second thing that I want to show you guys is actually 3D renders. So this is actually, if this was a physical property, right, that you can go to and capture. But we can also do this for 3D rendered, or for properties that are still under construction or are not yet built at all. And this, what you see in front of you right now, yeah, okay, is actually a 3D rendered property. Now, the first time I saw this was like, really? Is this 3D rendered? My goodness. Super, super high quality. Now, there are three ways you can do this. You can do it yourself. If you have the capability to create 3D renders yourself, you can create them. Again, as long as they're in a ratio of, if it's a panoramic image, ratio of 2:1, 8,000 to 4,000 pixels, for example, you'd be able to upload it. We can also do it for you, even though it's not our specialty, it's not our core business. We can do it for you as well. But this particular one is actually not created by us. It's created by a company called Mac Asia. So courtesy from them, Mac Asia, MAC Asia, specialized in 3D visualization. So if you ever need anything in that area, I would highly recommend that you contact them. They create super, super high quality 3D renders. Really, really nice. Now, the reason I want to show you these two things is, what if we can now combine them together, right? So I'm combining an actual physical space with a 3D rendered property. Now, I can't see you guys, but I can imagine that you're thinking, Stefan, what on earth are you talking about? Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. Oh, sorry, wrong button over here. So here we go. Now, if we're mixing this together, imagine that I'm taking a drone shot of the actual, actual area where a new building is going to be built. And then it's just land still, so there's nothing there. I can't see anything just yet. But now, if I look to this side, these buildings are actually 3D rendered inside of this in this real space. So now I can actually visualize what is going to be here 6 months, a year, or 3 years from now, which is awesome. And this is not just for, I would say, the customer side, but even internally, like if you want to talk to your colleagues and visualize something, or suppliers or builders or anything like that, right? Especially in development, this can be really, really cool. So the two things that you would need, number one is you would actually have to go and do the physical, drone shot in that area. And then step two would be we need to create the 3D renders, and then our team can then put them together. So you cannot yet do that within our platform, but we can put it together to create a result that looks like this. Now, obviously, super, super nice, super cool, really, really helpful in this particular case, especially when there's nothing to see just yet. This is exactly what I would want, right? Like, okay, wonderful. I know exactly what's around. Now, there's not much going on here just yet, lots of buildings, but you can imagine how useful this is, especially in development. Now, the next thing is arguably one of the most important things that I could talk about. And I've talked about it before, but maybe it's not talked about enough, I think, generally. And that has to do with the communication with people, because the only reason that you are creating any type of virtual experience is to eventually get in touch with someone, communicate with someone, whoever that may be. Let me just check if they're still, okay, yeah, good. Whoever that may be, right? Doesn't really matter, but that's ultimately the goal. I want to be able to get in touch with someone, whether that's a buyer or a seller or a supplier. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story to highlight that. So one of my cousins, she recently bought her first home with her husband. And, last year they went to so many different properties. They visited so many of them. A lot of them they didn't like when they got there. Some of them they obviously did like, but ultimately didn't get. It just took forever. And at some point, she calls me up and says, Stefan, you know what? Oh, I'm so sort of disappointed with this whole experience. I think I'm just going to let it go for now. We'll just stay in the apartment that we've got, and then we'll pick it up at some point later. A little bit later, eventually, they did get the house, and they're truly happy. But that whole experience was just frustrating for her, and it had to do with the fact that they both have full-time jobs. They would have to go and visit, in the evenings or on the weekends, and then in many times they would drive up there and be like, oh, actually, I don't want to live in this neighborhood. I can't see me living here. Or they get to the house or the property like, oh, this is maybe not what I was thinking. Or the agent tells them something. They ask questions and that they didn't like, and they were just thinking a lot of this stuff could have been handled maybe much quicker without us having to be here physically. That was just a really frustrating sort of experience and got them sort of down, right? Now, what I was thinking is like, so what you really want is to be able to communicate. And one thing that I want to mention here is that none of the experiences that we create here, we're not trying to replace any physical interaction or physical visit. That there's nothing that beats that. 100% true. We also believe that. But it can help you in making the sort of the whole experience for both sides significantly more convenient. If I would be able to do sort of a virtual consultation, if I'm looking for a property, I get home in the evening, I do a 5-minute, 10-minute chat with someone virtually that can guide me through, answer some of my questions. The agent or the salesperson can also answer, can tell me stuff and realize, okay, this is the property for you. Or maybe it's not, but I have something else, the other side of town, maybe 20 minutes away. Maybe I can show you that one that could be better for you guys. I can sit at home with my glass of wine or my cup of coffee or tea and just save so much time and money on both sides. And I think that's exactly sort of the experience that, my cousin was sort of hoping for, to just save a whole bunch of time many times, right? Doesn't mean she still wants to go on a visit, but she just, in many cases, a lot of time could have been saved and frustration could have been, avoided essentially by doing this virtually. So I think that made so much sense. And not many, I think, people in real estate are currently offering that type of consultation. Now, I have talked about this before, and I've shown it to people as well. So I just want to show you guys what that looks like. I think you guys can still hear me. Yeah, I think so. Okay, great. So this is actually what we would call touring, right? So it is exactly what I just described. Essentially, it's a virtual meeting within the virtual tour, within the digital twin, or a 3D rendered space as well, could be possible. You know, me as the host would be show up here on the right, and on the left, you would have the visitors. You can have up to 10 people, but most of the time that's not happening. Excuse me. You would have maybe 2 or 3. And the host is guiding you through, right, the property. Whatever the host clicks on or the salesperson clicks on, the visitors will also see that at the same time. You know, the important thing is that you can see each other. You can see the reaction. You can see the response of people. You can talk to each other, ask each other questions, and you can both be, you know, you as a salesperson can be either at home or at the office. You know, you don't necessarily have to be at that property. That you can take that, it's sort of a middle step, just in between of going to the property and that very first time you maybe see it online, which is just, you know, such a wonderful little experience. And I understand that in many cases you may not do this at the moment, like right now. So it requires a bit of a change in behavior, right? I need to now set up this meeting, but the benefit that you get out of it, I can promise you, the experience that the response that you will see from people will be so beneficial, and it will save so much time. Once you start doing this, I can promise you, you don't want to go back. You do not want to go back. We do actually most of our meetings nowadays, when we do meetings for our business, is actually with touring, like not with Google Meet or Teams or Zoom, which works fine, but we do it exactly like this to show how convenient this is. And also setting it up is easy. So there's no real learning curve here. All I need to do is go into the editor, basically, you know, our platform. You enter the name or names of people that you want to send it to, the meeting link, the email addresses, click send. They would receive a calendar invitation with the meeting link automatically. They would click, and you're right there in the meeting. It's a URL link, so it's very simple, and there's it could be done using a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop. So super simple. And the thing that I'm like struggling to understand is like, why am I not seeing this more, right? Like, because even though I'm not looking for a property at the moment, or a new apartment or home, I'm at that age where, you know, a lot of people of my age are looking for that right now. And this is exactly what I would want, right? I want to go and visit, but give me this first. It would help me so much. It would save me so much time and money, right? I don't have to get into the car, even if it's like 10 minutes away. It's still, I just have to get into the car to get ready, drive over there and do the tour and come back. Evening is gone. Like, it's as easy as that, right? So this is really and this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be completely out of town or like maybe even for international customers, which would work even better. But even if they just are really close, it takes you 2 minutes to set it up and to then just have that quick conversation to then say, okay, is this, you know, I think this could be the property for you. Let's meet on Saturday at 10 and you can come and visit, or let's go tomorrow evening if you have some time. And then, you know, you're so much further along in the process, and not to mention you'll have much happier people to deal with. Yes, so now I still have some time. So something that I didn't really plan on is actually this one that I wanted to mention. And this is related to virtual staging. So once you have created a virtual tour, I hope that you guys can still see me. Yeah, you should still be okay. All right. All right. Let's see if it loads. That's always the question. Let me just reload, try and see if it works again. Here we go. Should be okay. Yeah, okay. So here we have sort of what you saw was a 3D dollhouse that we can create based on a virtual tour that you essentially first create. Now, I have also done webinars on this specific solution in the past. So you can go and find them on YouTube. But what I just wanted to quickly show you, especially when it comes to properties that are completely empty or properties that are maybe just really messy, is being able to virtually stage this. Why? Because most people, including myself, have a really, really hard time imagining myself living in this space when it's completely empty. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where furniture is supposed to go. I can't really see this as a home. I just see this as an empty space, almost like a storage room. So what we could do here is I clicked on style in the corner, and it's the exact same property. This is the one on the left is captured. The one on the right is basically virtually staged. It's exactly the same, but now I have an actual, an actual home. I can see myself living here. It looks wonderful. Right? This is exactly what I would be looking for. And this could also go for properties that just don't look that great. Where there's lots of stuff going on, and the owners maybe didn't have, or it looks a little bit older. The owners didn't make that much of an effort. Now I can, and if I can go here to the full space, and walk through and see myself living here. So again, it doesn't require that much effort, because all you need to do is virtual tour, and we will take care of the rest. And then you have an experience that adds so much more to the actual standard tour that you would otherwise create on the left, that is not as exciting, right? And again, the goal is to get in touch with people, right? If I am if I want people to call me or send me a message, this is what is going to make me send a message. The one on the left, just that, probably not. I will just move on to the next, right? Another thing, a little thing, and that's the final thing that I'll say before I can go. Oh, actually, one other thing that I want to discuss. See, we're covering the entire spectrum of real estate. What we can do is measurements. So you can see that measurements are automatically added in this space. Now, this is not 100% accurate. So it's about 90% accurate. So don't make furniture or construction decisions based on this. But for people, like if I can just quickly go back, see if I can do that. Right, if you would ask me personally, how wide is this particular wall, I wouldn't have a clue. I just wouldn't have a clue based on this. It would be really difficult for me to determine, right? But this, indicating that it's 4 meters, now if you use feet, whatever it is also fine, but 4 meters would give me a much better feel. Okay, now I can imagine how big that actually is and what I could potentially put there on the left, right? Whether that would be, well, anything really. Okay. So this helps me, again, in that experience, even though it's not 100% accurate. Just having a feeling of what that measurement is really, really wonderful. So I just wanted to show you this, even though I didn't plan on it. I probably talked way too quickly. But yeah, I think this is really great. Now, I'm not going to talk about sort of pricing for each one of those different things. We have obviously a standard subscription fee, but it doesn't include everything I talked about today. So the best thing that I can ask, and I'll go back to, I'll stop sharing my screen. Oh, there we go. Okay, so in terms of pricing, the best thing, because I would bore you to death with that. I don't want to do that. So the best thing you could do if you're interested in any one of them and you want to talk about it in more detail or receive some samples from us is to just get in touch and we can schedule a meeting. So you can either contact us via hello@istaging.com or Stefan, Stefan @istaging.com. That's my email address. You can reach out to me directly and we can talk about the solution that might work for you specifically, or the plan that might work for you specifically. Now, before I go to any questions, I see that no one actually asked a question yet, so I'll just take that as a compliment that I've sort of explained myself well. But the final thing is related to photography and editing, because we do often get the question, can you do it for me, right? I don't know, even though it's easy, I don't really want to spend time doing it. I'm busy as it is. I don't want to spend my time. I just rather have someone do it for me. We can, actually, wherever you are in the world, it doesn't matter. We have done this in the US, in Korea, in Japan, in France, different places in Europe. Wherever you are, we work with photography partners that create really high quality, can go to the property or the area that you want to have captured. They go there, capture. We can take care of the editing as well. Obviously, there's an additional cost to that, so it's a little bit more expensive than if you would do it yourself. But the beauty is that it saves you a whole bunch of time. So all you would need to do is basically reach out and say, okay, can you do it? I want this property done. You would send us a floor plan so that we can indicate how many sort of images or panoramas we need to take and which location, so we can communicate in regards to that. We choose the date and the time, and then we can also finalize the editing for you, so the final end result is just for you to receive the link, essentially. Now, the one thing that I wanted to mention with regards to touring, so the live guided tour system that we've got, is you do need a subscription with iStaging to be able to use that, right? You could technically, if you have a team of multiple people, you could technically share an account, but you cannot be inside an account at the same time. So if you have many people, then we would recommend having each one of them get their own account, so they can schedule appointments themselves really quickly and really easily without being bothered by colleagues that might want to do meetings at the same time. So I just wanted to mention that because there's photography and editing services that we got, even though we often recommend people do it themselves, our customers do it themselves, and the majority does. But we also completely understand that sometimes you just don't want to do it, or don't want to put the time in, or say, okay, I'm looking for the highest quality. I'm not sure that I can do that myself. So we 100% can do this type of stuff as well. So yeah, I think that probably covers most of what I wanted to talk about today. I've been talking about almost half an hour now, so I think that's taken up most or enough of your time today. We covered, digital twins, a little bit about capturing 3D rendered properties. Again, like I said, if you want something, you can contact us. But Mac Asia is a wonderful company that you with 3D visualization. We talked about, obviously, one of the most important things, in my opinion, touring, the live guided tour system, which I think is cool. We talked about the 3D staging is something that we can do virtual. So it's not just staging of, a standard image, but now staging of an actual virtual tour and a side-by-side comparison, which is something that you often don't really see either in virtual tours. And then ultimately photography and editing services that are available for us as well. So yeah, covered a lot of stuff. For each one of those things, I can talk about another. I can talk the whole day. I won't do that. So, are there any questions that I can help you guys with? Is there anything before we go that you'd like to talk about? I'm guessing that all the audio and the video all worked well, because I didn't see any messages from you guys that it didn't work. The webinar is recorded today, so we will share the webinar with you guys if you want to go back and look at certain things again. And you can contact us. So I'll put in hello. I'll put it here in the chat. Hello at iStaging.com or Stefan at iStaging.com. Either way, you can contact our team. Rock Lee, thanks. Everything was heard just fine. Thanks, Nick. Awesome. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I understand that if you've joined some webinars before, or iStaging talks before from us, that some of this stuff you may have heard before, but I thought it was good to just cover the whole spectrum of everything that you can do and go a little bit further than just digital twins, right? Just virtual tours. That's more standardized now. It's not so much, I don't have to convince you guys of what a virtual tour, what the value of a virtual tour is. I think we're now at a stage where, that was 8 years ago, I think we're now at a stage where we can take it a few steps further. We can look at some details. How can I create the best experience online, and just the best experience for people that are actually looking at this virtual tour? Who are you targeting? Who do you want to have look at it? And put yourself in their shoes. What's the experience that they would expect? Right? And that often helps me, right? Whenever I do anything, it's like, okay, if I would be that person, would I be happy with this? And actually, very often the answer would be no. I rewrite emails, I do different types of meetings. All of that type of stuff would be completely different when I switch my mindset and go, okay, if I would receive this, if I would do it this way, would this be the optimal experience? Probably not. So actually, and the answer is often no. And then I rewrite and do it again. And the same goes with the creation of virtual tours or hosting, meetings online. Yeah, I think that's another tip that that can go for anything, not just for iStaging and our platform, but just for I think anything that you do. So yeah, a little final piece of knowledge, I guess, from my side. As always, I appreciate you guys' time a lot. So I know you're all very busy. So the fact that you want to take half hour out your day to listen to us or to me specifically today is awesome. And I hope I brought a little bit of value for you guys, that you learned something new, you saw something new. I'd be happy to share the samples that I showed you today as well, if you want to look at it and explore yourself. Thanks again. Have a wonderful end of your week. And I hope to see you at the next one. Thanks.